Hello everyone, welcome to another episode, or our second episode of Chaotic Truth. In this episode we're going to be talking about the perception of truth. Is there really a truth, or are they opinions, are they beliefs? What is true and what is not? This question came from someone who asked this question. They asked, what is truth? This question has been asked for 2,000 years, or 3,000 years, 4,000 years. The Greek philosophers were even asking, what is truth? In her comment she said that even Pilate turned to Jesus and asked Jesus, what is truth? Nobody has really ever understood the perception of truth. So that's what we're going to dive into today and try to figure out what is the basic concept of truth, the difference between absolute truth, beliefs, and opinions. And that's coming up next. Hello again, and like I said, welcome to our second video, the perceptions of truth. If we're going to go off with truth at the very beginning, I need to also be truthful. You're going to notice me looking at notes a lot. I'm a writer. I don't really speak in front of cameras. I don't have a good fifth chakra. I'm working on it, but it takes time. So what I do, I write everything down, kind of like a transcript in a way. And I know a lot of people don't like it when they see, the person making a video constantly looking at notes, but I have to have them. When I had a stroke a few years ago, it kind of messed my memory up. So I could study these notes all day long and step in front of you and talk like, one of those other people on YouTube who just can spout out anything at any time. I can't do that. So that's a truth. The truth is I don't have a good memory. And so I have to write things down. And the other truth is, that's just a writer. Once I've written things out, my mind kind of just forgets them, lets them go. And so if I'm going to speak on something, I'm going to have what I've written. So we'll go back with that as basically the first truth. Another truth is, if you want to look at what truth is, the truth is, right now, an absolute truth, I'm in front of a camera. That's true. Also true is that I put this on YouTube, and I shared it to other platforms. That's an absolute truth. So those are absolute truths. An absolute truth is kind of like, let's say 3 people walk out into the sun, and they all 3 look up at the sun. They can all 3 agree with absolute truth the sun is shining on them. But then from absolute truth, you have what is called belief of truth. One person can say, well, it's cold out here, the sun's not very warm. Another person might say, well, it's perfect right now, the sun's perfect, the temperature's perfect. And then another person will say, it's kind of cold to me. Which one of them are correct? Most people think there's only one truth. But in honesty, all 3 of them are correct. They're all 3 correct because they all have a perception that's different from each other. One person's shivering, one person is okay, and the other person is sweating. None of them are incorrect. They are all correct in their truth at that moment. The absolute truth is the sun's shining. The other truth is that they all are seeing it differently or feeling it differently. So you have 3 truths within one truth. So you really can't pinpoint down what is truth, because everybody's perception of truth is different, and it's always going to be that way. So the sad or truth of it is, there is no absolute truth beyond certain parameters when it comes into feelings or thoughts, beliefs, religions, when it comes into politics. Everybody's going to have a different perception of what they believe is to be true. Now, let me go to another type of truth. This is the truth of belief. Going back to the original question, she mentioned that Pilate turned to Jesus and said to him, or asked him, "What is truth?" At that moment, though, Pilate did not let Jesus answer. He instead went to the mob outside. He said to them, "He is innocent." So he washed his hands of it, because he knew in his belief that what was true was Jesus was innocent. He had done nothing wrong. The reason why he had this opinion of truth was because he didn't follow Jewish laws. At that time, he was, completely different. Romans were on their beliefs. So he didn't see what Jesus was doing as wrong. However, the other side of it was the belief from the Jewish priest was that Jesus did commit blasphemy. And in their laws, that's punishable by death. So you have two different truths that each one believed, which were the opposite of each other. And so Pilate just washed his hands of it and was done, and the Jewish priests got to do what they wanted to do, which is persecuting because their laws said so. So you have two different truths based on two different beliefs. There was no actual evidence on either way of what was what. The entire situation came down to what your belief of truth is. Unfortunately, there's no true way of trying to make a fact when it comes to the perception of truth. When it comes to perceptions, it's basically an opinion. People argue over the temperature, different types of foods they like, different sports teams they like, whether they like sports or they don't like sports. Everyone wants to say that what they are saying is true. And it's not truth, it's opinions or beliefs. That's just the way it is in our world. Even politics, religions, all of them. It comes down to what you believe. There's really no way of proving what happened 3,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago if you wasn't there. You have to take a guess. You have to come up with your own opinion of what you think might have happened. And yes, you can put facts in there, but even facts can be obscured. Facts sometimes are depending on who is doing the poll. Everybody says, they make polls for a reason, to get an idea what everybody believes or doesn't believe. I don't believe in polls. If you want to prove that apples are more important than oranges, well, then you're not going to go to Florida to conduct a poll. You're going to go up to Washington or Idaho, way up north, to do your polls, because you want everybody who sees the apples are good for their industry. And then you can prove your point that apples are more important. If it's the opposite, you want to prove that oranges are more important, then you're going to conduct your poll in Florida. Everybody's going to agree with you. Yes, oranges are important. Apples are not important for the economy. Because for the people in Florida, oranges are more important for their economy than apples. And so it depends on where you do your poll. I always like to use I came up with this a while back, of a way that polls are conducted. And I'm a fish. I like fishermen. I'm a fisherman. I like to fish. And I looked at this. If a person wanted to prove that a pond or a lake had more bass in it than catfish, well, then they would do a test and they would use topwater lures. They'd fish for bass. They would not fish for catfish. And then they would turn around and catch 10 bass, and they could say, "See, I have proven there are more bass in this lake or this pond than there are catfish." Whereas another person come along and they could fish for catfish, which is on the bottom. And so they could drop all their bait to the bottom, catch a bunch of catfish, and they could say, "No, you are wrong. That's not true. The truth is there's more catfish than bass." That's a stupid argument. But this is the kind of arguments we get into daily with everybody else around us. The only way to find out if there's more bass than catfish inside a lake or a pond is to blow up the dam, let all the water run out, and when all the fish are dead, count how many there are of each. That's kind of a wasted effort. That's kind of stupid to do this. But that's the only way to get an actual fact of what a lake or a pond would have more of than anything else. This is what we do daily. We do these kinds of arguments with other people on the internet and on social media about what's true and what's not based on our beliefs or these little polls that we have seen instead of actual facts. To get the actual facts, it's needless. There's no reason to even try to get there. So overall, what we come to conclusion is that, when it comes to actual facts versus a perception of facts or beliefs or opinions, it really can't be done. Not the way truth is presented in this kind of thought. You know what I mean? It's like two people arguing over a fence. One person's on this side of the fence and they say the fence is white. The other person on this side of the fence is arguing with the other person saying no, the fence is brown. Because from this guy's point of view, the fence is brown. From this person's point of view, the fence is white because it was painted white. And it's not until one person quits arguing long enough to actually go to the other side of the fence and look back to realize they were both correct. The fence is brown on this side and it's white on this side. And they were arguing for no reason because they were both correct. The same way with the sun. They're both correct. But you have to take a chance and go and check out the other side, maybe. Don't just look at things from your side. Don't look at truth from your side only. Don't look at your belief or your opinion from your side only. There might be a reason why somebody else from another side is arguing with you, because they are just simply seeing things differently. And if you take this chance to go over to the other side and give them a chance to explain their situation without getting mad and getting upset, you might find a common truth between the both of you. The common truth between them would have been that the fence is both colors, not one color. And that's where we mess up in this world. We want to make sure that our opinion is perfect, ours is right, yours is wrong. And this is why there's so much hate and so much anger constantly going back and forth, because people don't want to accept there may be more than one truth out there. So this is what I would like to challenge with you for this week. I just want to make a challenge. Think about your most absolute truth that you believe to be more true than anything else. And ask yourself, where did you come up with this truth? Did you get the truth off of reading something? Did you get the truth from hearing someone else say it? Did you study it? Did you research it? Did you see it with your own eyes? Or was it hearsay, or did you see it on the internet? You saw the internet, well, did you check it out? Did you go in for yourself to see if it was true? If you just accepted it was true, is it really true? What is your absolute truth that you know without a doubt has not been influenced in one way or another by someone else or something else, teachings, raisings, anything? Was it really a truth, or is it a belief and an opinion that you created while listening to others and following what they're saying? Because there's many people out there who say things that aren't true. And so you're not actually taking the time to look at yourself and what you believe in your heart as true, then you might be getting misled and you don't even know it. Take time to do some research. But first, ask yourself those questions. Your main absolute truth that you know without a doubt is true, 100%, and then ask yourself, how did you come up with that truth? And how do you know it's true? I'm not saying that there's no truth in our world. I'm not saying that everybody's wrong, everybody's wicked, but I am saying that the world we live in today is full of misinformation. People are putting their own agendas out there and they're saying what they're saying is true because they want you to believe it. And so many people out there don't even know what truth is, to the point where they just get confused all day long and they just have to accept something. Another bad thing about truth is people don't want to take the time to learn about truth, because truth is the foundation of where they have built their life on. And everybody starts like basically a small pyramid upside down. You have this little small truth and it grows and grows and grows in every direction as you start putting on these different tiles of truth. Okay, if you mess up though that foundation at the very beginning where you started, all of a sudden that ground crumbles, that pyramid is going to tumble one way or the other. You may end up losing the entire foundation of your belief system that you've had your entire life. That scares people. And it is scary. It's very scary. But that doesn't mean you should ignore the truth and just accept what other people say, because maybe that foundation does need to come down. Maybe that foundation needs to be broken to where you can rebuild on something solid.